What's up, guys? Christian here, and hopefully the setup's better. I got a ring light behind, but another diary to kind of talk about, and it's kind of been running on my mind for the past few months and weeks now, and especially today, since it's kind of like fall right now. The cuffing season is happening at prime time, and you might probably be by yourself while you see everyone else with their family, friends, or even couples just walking along the street, enjoying their time, going out to eat or the movies. And it it kind of feels very lonely and sucks that throughout the whole time you see everyone enjoying their time, and while you're a PhD student grinding hard, working in the lab, working at home doing your thesis or doing research, making up experiments, you see everyone enjoying their time with their family and friends. And especially if you're doing work and you're from outside that area or the country, it becomes a lot tougher. So I'm on the Northeast, coming all the way from Hawaii, very different from home. I have no family here in the Northeast, so it's very tough. As well as I can assume like anyone coming from the West side of America or even international, which is even tougher. So um, it's kind of talking about the cuffing season since you got the holidays like Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's. So everyone's spending time together with friends, family, couples. That's like prime time to be with your loved ones, and kind of like being by yourself really sucks. So I got like three things that kind of hopefully helps out throughout the PhD what I learned. And hopefully I can still follow this to the day, because sometimes I really do get lonely, and sometimes I wish like I do have amazing friends. Sometimes I just wish like wow, I can get a connection, get a girlfriend, and yeah, experience all these things. So number one thing is to embrace being alone. So that's said. So what does that mean, like being alone and embracing it? So you're just enjoying the time by yourself, like you yourself and I, like you're very independent. You already learned that throughout your PhD, being an independent scientist, being an independent researcher. So when you're independent, you're able to do things that you want, and you're not dependent on other people to fulfill your satisfaction and your happiness. So I believe that's very different from being lonely. You become alone when you embrace being alone. You enjoy the presence of yourself, and when you're lonely, you don't like to be with yourself, and you depend others to fill that void and gap for you to become a person. So there's a few things that you could do to embrace being lonely. So first of all is doing the hobbies you want to do. Can be playing video games. This could be playing your instrument, learning new things, going on a typewriter, flying a drone, or getting to plants, sewing, crocheting, all that stuff. So doing all the hobbies you love give you a lot more time, since you're not seeing some people and you're not dependent on like maybe a partner. Like you probably be dependent on a partner of cooking. You two cook together, you tag team, really nice. But if you want to do cooking yourself and try to learn out, that's good. You're building that skill and you're enjoying yourself. And then who knows, you're honestly in the future, you're going to meet that one person. I don't know when. Or you meet those friends, family, and don't know when. But at least you have that cooking skill to show off and be like, wow, they'll be impressed. And then they want to be your friends and you want to be close with you. So hobbies, number one. And then second thing is going out alone. That's, I think, one of the biggest things ever. So you can start off slowly with going to the movies alone. So low stakes right here. Kind of weird. Like when I first did it, when I went to the movies alone, it's like, wow, everyone's looking at me. But at the end of the day, like you do have that main character syndrome of like people judging you. But at the end of the day, no one cares. Everyone's going to the movies just to watch the movies, even to go with their friends, family. They're in there to watch the movie, and 95% of the time the room is dark, so they're not even looking at you. They're looking at the screen. So they paid the ticket to look at the screen. So that's what you can do to embrace being alone. First thing, go to the movies. Enjoy whatever film you want to watch. It can be a good anime, rom com, comedy, action, drama, filler, horror, anything you enjoy. That's a good start. And then you can ramp things up by going to the restaurant alone. So usually when you go to restaurants, you hang out with your friends, family, or like couples, eat dinner together, lunch together, breakfast. But if you go alone, you only have one bill to pay, yourself. So that's a good thing. And second, you can enjoy the food yourself. Go eat at your own pace. You get to self-reflect. And you might be scared, like, wow, other people's looking at me, but at the end of the day too, they're still gonna enjoy their food. They might look at you, talk about you maybe for a sentence, but at the end of the day, they probably forgot about you. You probably see people eating food alone at restaurants all the time, but you forgot them because it doesn't pertain to you. So no, it's not gonna be that deep. I think it's pretty good going to restaurants. You get to try out the food that you always wanted to try without you being dependent on people. You have your own thoughts and you can say it in your head about how the food tastes, the service, and everything like that. Then, upgrading to the higher tier, if you feel like you want like enjoy your time alone, you go to the bar alone. You get your own drinks. You go to the bar. That's a great way to meet people as well. So when you go to the bar alone, maybe a sports bar, I think that's a great way to start off for dudes. For girls, it's probably different for safety concerns, but still, they can still go. But dudes, you can go to the sports bar if you want to. Maybe watch some basketball, watch some football. You don't even need to know what's going on. You can just root for the team, the home team of that bar, and just have a conversation and just be genuine. Be like, hey, I don't know basketball, but hey, show me what's going on. Like, who are they? And dudes would always love to talk about sports, especially the players and the teams they're passionate about. And bars too kind of gets lonely because that's where I hang out with a lot, like where people hang out a lot with other people in terms of just after work, enjoying the times, getting drunk, kind of getting bliss, changing personalities in terms of with alcohol. So I think that's a good way. Just drink responsibly. Go to the bar, embrace being alone. You'll meet people there too. And then other things like kind of like on the top tier, go concerts alone or the club. So concerts, I've done that several times. I've seen several artists that I want to see, but none of my friends knew who they were, or it's a very niche artist. And I had no one to go with. Used to go on a date all the time with my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, going to concerts all the time. So artists that she likes, artists I like, and sometimes I enjoy the concerts, and sometimes I really didn't enjoy the concerts. So it depends on the artist. So when you go to artists concerts, just go. You have definitely one thing in common with everyone else is that you both like the same artist. You don't even need to be deep into that artist. You can only like one of their songs. Be like, hey, I only know this song, and be like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And yeah, they can just continue telling you about more of their songs, more of their history when you have like fans of that artist. And then clubbing, I think that's the top tier of like embracing being alone. It's one of the worst places in the world, in my opinion. I hate clubbing. Everyone's egotistical, and everyone comes into groups, and especially as a guy, you're like, whoa, we're going to clubs. Guys are gonna think, oh, I gotta like bag a girl, and then girls be like, I gotta make sure I protect myself from dudes. And then if a girl goes to the club alone and be like, gotta make sure, yeah, I don't get catcalled and all that stuff. So, but if you're able to embrace being alone, you go to the club, enjoy the vibes, and then people will gather around you. It doesn't matter. They're gonna enjoy, have the vibes, because at the end of the day, they won't remember you at all. Like, if you make friends, good, they'll remember you. If they don't, they'll forget about you. So, number 2, it's about to kind of getting over the loneliness is reaching out to your friends and family. So, what does that mean? So, whoever you haven't talked to in a while, that could be sometimes your parents, your siblings. I talk to my parents and siblings all the time. Maybe your cousins or your old friends back at home, or like who moved out of the states or country. Catching up with them really puts a warm heart in my heart, just because I always have things to tell them. Even like if my life, it hasn't happened a lot, there's still a lot to catch up with me telling them and me hearing their story as well. And it's a heartwarming situation, showing that you're not always alone throughout these times, even if it's the toughest times of your life. Your friends and family always have your back. You talk to them, you can talk about anything, and then maybe drop whatever's going on with your life, and they're always supported. They're gonna be talking to you, and you're gonna enjoy their time. Rekindling your relationship with them makes you realize you're not lonely all the time. It allows you to show that you have a great support system throughout your whole life, and you're enjoying their presence and they enjoy your presence. And you might not be physically with them right now, but at the same time, you're mentally with them. You're on FaceTime, you're on the phone. I think it's a really great way to kind of get out of that mental state of being lonely. And then the third thing right here is getting yourself out there. So, kind of coincides with number one of bracing and being alone. So when you get out there, the first example I could think of is joining a hobby group. So, first thing, like I said, you embrace being alone. You do the hobbies you want to do, like cooking or video games or running. There's a lot of hobby groups out there that does it, and what you guys can have in common is enjoying the same hobbies. A really popular one is running groups. I see a lot of people getting to running groups just to meet other people. Great way to get active. Great way to meet other people outside, so you can make friends, partners, relationships throughout the whole time. There's also like video games. I like to play video games a lot, so there's video game stores, card shops that does like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Smash tournaments, so that's also a good one too. Also, there's dancing as well. Me, I like to work out, so I got myself deep in the rabbit hole of doing Pilates, so I got into that, met a lot of great people, and somehow I became a coach. So that's a crazy part of what I did in my life. And then there's multiple ways you can get yourself into these things. So just reach out, like just go to one hobby group event, and then at the worst case scenario, if you don't like it, just leave and you can just go home. You might suck, but at least you put yourself out there. You tried. And over time, the more you put yourself out there, the more times you try to go out, it becomes a lot easier. You're going to enjoy a lot more people, and you might not get in the first try, but in like the second or the ninth try, you'll meet that one group of people or one person that makes everything worth it. So it takes time, and yeah, getting yourself out there is really great. And then also, once you start meeting people, kind of making plans is kind of a tough part. Sometimes for me back then, I expect all the people to make plans for me. So kind of like make the plans like, oh, let's get out for drinks, or let's get food outside, or just like something small, let's get ice cream. And I realized like playing the waiting game makes me feel a lot more lonelier, because sometimes they probably forgot about you, or it's just a one-off thing, or they're also thinking the same way I'm thinking. Okay, if they don't reach out, if I don't reach out to them, they're not going to reach out to me. So my change of mentality is I'm just going to reach out to them, ask them, hey, you want to grab something here and there, and then see their response. If their response is like, yeah, I want to, then that's totally cool. You already made a friend right there. It occupied your time socializing with people, which is really good. And then in the other case scenario, if they said, oh, sorry, I can't do that day, but maybe another day, that's also good too. So they sound interested, but of hanging out with you, but they're just not available that day. You can always reschedule, so you can tell how people are. And if they say no, like, oh, sorry, I can't, and then no, like, alternatives or anything like that, you can go follow up and be like, hey, maybe this day. And they keep resisting, that's fine. You'll meet more people other time. You don't need to waste your energy on them. So initiate the plans. It can just be small, going out for ice cream, going out to the bar, going out for food, and then once you get closer, maybe at your place. That'd be super fun. And then one last thing is, yeah, so once you kind of get yourself out there, you build social skills a lot, because like first thing, you meet the hobby group, you gotta kind of get yourself talking to them, initiate conversations. It can be like, oh, what made you get into running? What made you get into Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all that stuff. And then people love to share about themselves, and they can share about yours, and it goes by fast because you all have the same interests. So those are a part of embracing or getting yourself out there. So yeah, life is pretty lonely, but you're not alone. And all of us, including me or your friend or the people you behind the screen or your 10 other friends or your parents probably too, your grandparents, even Abraham Lincoln or something like that, they experienced loneliness throughout their lives, and it's not uncommon for everyone. But you might feel alone right now, but there's 10 billion people in the world right now probably also experience loneliness. So making that human connection might be tougher just because of social media and all that stuff. But getting out yourself out there first is always good. Embracing your loneliness, like not bracing loneliness, bracing you being alone is also amazing as well. And then reaching out to former connections, your family, your friends, makes you realize you're not lonely at all. So having those three different mindsets of embracing being alone, reaching out to family and friends, and getting yourself out there makes the system or your whole mental state a lot better. And it's tough. It's not a 1 day solution. It's probably gonna take weeks, months, or maybe a year or so. But at the end of the day, it will pay off. So another part is like you probably look at yourself a year before, and you look at yourself year now. That year could be either better or worse. But at the same time, you probably made a lot of new connections that you haven't probably noticed before, and just reaching out to them is really nice, and just kind of self-reflecting. And yeah, cuffing season sucks being alone and sucks being lonely, but once you can embrace being alone and kind of get yourself out there, it'll be fine. And yeah, this is Christian. Just my round of thought for the day. Hopefully I can talk more, but I'll think of more ideas, whatever's going through my head now. That's what I'm going to talk about. So yeah, have fun.